Yesterday in reading, we started the one and only Ivan for our novel study. And we have those 3 packets that we're going to be working through while we read the story. And yesterday the thick packet, the one that says student chapter packet, I think, did we start to do some things in that? We did the quick write. And then, I know, we started talking about how we imagine the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade to look in our minds as we've been reading it so far. I want you to look into the vocabulary packet quickly with me. And remember yesterday when we were going through this, I said it's kind of like our own miniature dictionary of words that they thought that we might need to know the definitions for. So when we read yesterday, we finished on page 10. That was the last page we read. So let's look at those first 3 words that are in the vocabulary words and definitions part at the very beginning of the vocabulary packet. Make sure you're in the vocab packet. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. Okay, so on page 4, which was from chapter 4, How I Look, they thought a word that you might need to know the definition for was majestic. Okay, majestic means distinguished and grand, like something super amazing. Okay, like a queen could be majestic, or even a king could be majestic. But is that what they're referring to in this story? No. 7, we had already talked about this one, but it's in here again. The domain. Remember how it described Ivan's domain and Stella's domain and the parrot's domain, and I think that was it. I can't remember. But that's their territory. It's like where they live, basically, right? And then, excuse me, the third word is unkempt. Do you see that MP in there? Unkempt. That just means that it's messy, it's untidy, it's not clean. So when Ivan was describing these places, he described them as unkempt. So the area around him is what? It's messy. It's not clean. All right, then the next word that will be, I don't know if we'll get to it today, we might, is ponder. If you ponder something, it means that you think about something. All righty? Have any of you ever heard that word before? No. While we are in the vocabulary packet, go ahead and turn, if you will, to, the order of the pages goes 1, 2, 3, because that's like the miniature dictionary part of the vocabulary words. And then it starts over with another page 1. So go to the second page 1 that looks like this page. Everybody see the page that I'm referring to? Okay. Somebody's phone was going off. So now, as we work through chapters 1 through 41, there's a difference between the student chapter packet and the vocab packet, remember? This is for basically like the first half of the story. But look at the word in part 1 here. Look at the word ponder. Did we just talk about that?
Yeah.
Do you remember what ponder meant? Without looking back, do you remember what we had said it was? Connor?
Thinking about something.
Yeah, you're thinking about something. All right. So let's jot that down. Ponder means to think about something. Okay. Now, have we talked about precision or wistful or nimbly? No, I don't think we've even come across those as we've read so far.
What is the illustration?
We're not going to worry about that. All right, let's go ahead and move on. So close that vocabulary packet. Go ahead and have your student chapter packet back in front of you now. Remember, that's the really thick one. Compared to the other two, it's really thick. Okay, and you can go ahead and open it back up to where it says chapters 1 through 11. And we've actually read, let's see, what are we going on to today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're already getting ready to start the 6th chapter today on page 11. All right. You can use your bookmark, forgot what it was called. You can use your bookmark to follow along if that's easier for you so that you don't accidentally skip any lines. Okay, so the next chapter on page 11 is the littlest big top on earth. Do you know what a big top is? Do you know?
A mall.
Well, it is the name of the mall in this, but do you know what it's referenced to? A circus tent. A circus tent is known as a big top because have any of you ever been to a circus inside one of those tents? Well, those tents, does anybody have the circus tent on their bookmark? Circus tents, I'm going to use yours as my example, okay, have a really big pointed top on them. So that's what they're referring to, is more like circus events, like a circus tent. Okay, are we ready to read more about Ivan?
Are we reading together?
Do you want to read together? Do you want to read with me? If you're not comfortable reading out loud, follow along. If you're comfortable reading out loud, I'll read a little slower. I won't read as fast as I normally do. Are we ready? My neighbors here at the Big Top Mall know many tricks. They are an educated lot, more accomplished than I am. One of my neighbors plays baseball, although she is a chicken. Another drives a fire truck, although he is a rabbit. I used to have a neighbor, a sleek and thoughtful seal, who could balance a ball on her nose from dawn till dusk. Her voice was like the throaty bark of a dog chained outside on a cold night. Children wished on pennies and tossed them into her plastic pool. They glowed on the bottom like flat copper stones. The seal was hungry one day, or bored, perhaps, so she ate 100 pennies. What do you think is going to happen?
She got sick.
Okay, let's find out. Mac said she'd be fine. Now, who's Mac again? The owner of what? Of the Big Top Mall, right? Okay, so Mac said she'd be fine. He was mistaken. What does that mean? Was she fine?
No.
Mac calls our show the littlest big top on earth. Every day at 2, 4, and 7, humans fan themselves, drink sodas, applaud. What does applaud mean? It means to clap. Okay, so it means that they're sitting there. Remember, Ivan said that all they do is sit on their rumps. Remember reading that yesterday? So they're sitting there watching this show that happens 3 times a day. They sit there, they fan themselves. If they're fanning themselves, what does that tell you about the inside of that building? It's hot. So they fan themselves, they drink sodas, and they applaud. So they're clapping for all of the things that the circus animals are doing inside this mall. All right, do you see where we're at, where we left off with the word babies? Babies wail, that means they cry. Mac, dressed like a clown, pedals a tiny bike. A dog named Snickers rides on Stella's back. Stella sits on a stool. Okay, remind me again, who is Stella? The elephant. All right, so Stella sits on a stool. It is a very sturdy stool. I don't do any tricks. Mac says it's enough for me to be me. Stella told me that some circuses move from town to town. They have humans who dangle on ropes twining from the tops of tents. They have grumbling lions with gleaming teeth and a snaking line of elephants, each clutching the limp tail in front of her. The elephants look far off into the distance, so they won't see the humans who want to see them. Our circus doesn't migrate. That means their circus doesn't move around like most other circuses do from town to town. We sit where we are, like an old beast too tired to push on. After our show, humans forage through the stores. Do you know what that means? They go looking around, they go shopping in the stores inside the mall. A store is where humans buy things they need to survive. At the Big Top Mall, some stores sell new things. Things like balloons and t-shirts and caps to cover the gleaming heads of humans. Some stores sell old things, things that smell dusty and damp and long forgotten. All day, I watch humans scurry from store to store. They pass their green paper, dry as old leaves and smelling of a thousand hands, back and forth and back again. What's the old green paper he's talking about? Money. So he's saying, does that money smell good? No, money doesn't smell good to him, does it? Next paragraph. They hunt frantically, stalking, pushing, grumbling. Then they leave, clutching bags filled with things, bright things, soft things, big things. But no matter how full the bags, they always come back for more. Humans are clever indeed. They spin pink clouds you can eat. They build domains with flat waterfalls. But they are lousy hunters. What are the pink clouds they spin?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Okay, on to the next chapter. I believe this is 7. Gone. Some animals live privately, unwatched, but that is not my life. My life is flashing lights and pointing fingers and uninvited visitors. Inches away, humans flatten their little hands against the wall of glass that separates us. So what he's saying is, can people get up to the glass of his domain? Yeah. And what are they doing all the time while they're in the mall? They're pointing at him. They're going up to his domain. And what are they doing?
Pushing on it.
Yeah, they're pushing on the glass right in front of him, aren't they? Do you think he likes that? The glass says, you are this and we are that. And that is how it will always be. Humans leave their fingerprints behind, sticky with candy, slick with sweat. Each night, a weary man comes to wipe them away. Do you know what it means to be weary?
No.
It means to be really tired. Sometimes I press my nose against the glass. My nose print, like your fingerprint, is the first and last and only one. The man wipes the glass, and then I am gone. Literally, is Ivan gone? No. His nose print is gone. Okay. The next chapter is artists. Here in my domain, I do not have much to do. You can only throw so many meatballs at humans before you get bored. Friends, do you remember what the meatballs are? Okay, we don't need to review those. Do we throw meatballs?
No.
Okay,
That would just be weird.
that would be awful. All right, a meatball is made by rolling up dung. And what is dung? Poop. Until it's the size of a small apple. Think about the small apples we have for snack. Those are small apples. That's the size of like a gorilla's meatball.
Ew.
Then letting it dry. I always keep a few on hand. For some reason, my visitors never seem to carry any. I can't understand why humans don't have meatballs. Thank goodness we don't.
Yeah.
Would you want to carry those around?
No.
In my domain, I have a tire swing, a baseball, a tiny plastic pool filled with dirty water, and even an old TV. I have a stuffed toy gorilla too. Julia, the daughter of the weary man who cleans the mall each night, gave it to me. The gorilla has empty eyes and floppy limbs, but I sleep with it every night. I call it Not Tag. Jag was my twin sister's name. Julia is 10 years old. She has hair like black glass. So what he's describing how she looks now. So like black glass, what do you think he means by that?
Like just like that kind of.
Like a shiny black hair?
Yeah.
Okay. And a wide half moon smile. What does that mean?
Like her smile kind of.
If it's a half moon, is it kind of an open mouth smile?
Yeah.
Is it like this?
No.
Or is she showing her teeth?
She's showing her teeth.
Okay. Pull this back up. She and I have a lot in common. We are both great apes and we are both artists. It was Julia who gave me my first crayon, a stubby blue one, slipped through the broken spot in my glass along with a folded piece of paper. I knew what to do with it. I'd watched Julia draw. When I dragged the crayon across the paper, it left a trail in its wake like a slithering blue snake. Julia's drawings are wild with color and movement. She draws things that aren't real. Clouds that smile and cars that swim. She draws until her crayons break and her paper rips. Her pictures are like pieces of a dream. Does he like her drawings?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell by the way that he's describing them. Does he like to watch her draw? Yes, because he's obviously paying close attention to the details of what she is drawing. I can't draw dreamy pictures. I never remember my dreams, although I sometimes awaken with my fists clenched and my heart hammering. If a gorilla's heart or a human's heart is hammering, does that mean it's beating nice and gently
No.
and smoothly? If your heart is hammering on your desk, let me hear how it would, yeah, it's pounding really fast inside his chest, right? Show me a clenched fist. Is this a clenched fist?
No.
Or is this? If it's clenched, are you using your muscles? Are you tightening all those muscles? Yeah, so does he sleep calmly? Or do things get him worked up in his sleep? How do you know? How do we know that he gets worked up about things in his sleep? What did we just talk about? What's going on with his heart? It's beating really hard. It's pounding really hard. Is he relaxed when he sleeps?
No.
How do we know?
Because his heart clenches his.
Yeah, he's clenching his fists. If you're doing that in your sleep, you're not resting well, are you?
No.
Not at all. All right, let's keep reading. My drawings seem pale and timid next to Julia's. She draws the ideas in her head. I draw the things in my cage. Simple items that fill my days. An apple core, a banana peel, a candy wrapper. I often eat my subjects before I draw them. What is he talking about there? What does he mean he eats his subjects before he draws them?
He eats his food before he draws.
So is he eating the apple core,
Yes.
the banana peel?
Yes.
Do you think he eats the candy wrapper?
Maybe.
Maybe. It doesn't say he doesn't. It said he eats the subjects before he draws them. I don't know. let's keep reading. But even though I draw the same things over and over again, I never get bored with my art. When I'm drawing, that's all I think about. I don't think about where I am, about yesterday or tomorrow. I just move my crayons across the paper. Humans don't always seem to recognize what I've drawn. They squint. Show me a squint. Cock their heads. Murmur. What's a murmur?
Like mumble.
Yeah, like you're mumbling. So they're looking at what he draws. They're squinting their eyes, because sometimes if we squint our eyes, we think we can see something better. So they're squinting their eyes looking at his drawings, and then they're like tilting, they're cocking their head to the side, and they're mumbling about whatever it is that they're looking at. Now, does Ivan know what he's drawn?
Yeah.
Do the humans know what Ivan has drawn? No. All right, so I'll draw a banana, a perfectly lovely banana. And they'll say, it's a yellow airplane, or it's a duck without wings. That's all right. I'm not drawing for them. I'm drawing for me. Max soon realized that people will pay for a picture made by a gorilla, even if they don't know what it is. Now I draw every day. My works sell for $20 a piece, $25 with a frame, at the gift shop near my domain. If I get tired and need a break, I eat my crayons. That's one way to get a break from things. You guys don't eat your crayons or your pencils.
No.
You just let me know if you need a break. Okay, so this is chapter 9, Shapes and Clouds. But I think let's take a reading break. Put your bookmark in your book. Where did I put my bookmark? Huh. It's all right. I'll get my other bookmark for now. All right, let's go back to the thick packet. Remember we talked about those first 5 words, the first 5 vocabulary words from the other packet. Majestic, domain, unkempt, and ponder. Okay, I want you to use those 5 words to complete those 5 sentences in that vocabulary section. So read with me the first sentence. The queen looked solemn and as she gave her speech. Do you know which word needs to go in there?
Yes.
Write it down. I would cross out the word that you just used because you're just going to use each word one time. Okay, 2. My hair was entangled because of very crazy winds and rain. If your hair is tangled, what was that word? You can look back in your vocabulary packet if you need to double check the definitions for those. Remember the definition? Oh, look what I found in my pocket. The definitions in the vocabulary packet were the very beginning of that. Did everybody figure out which one of those words goes along with tangled hair? Okay, 3. My brother rudely told me to get out of his room because that was his, and I wasn't welcome. You could use this word at home for your own space in your house. No, you share a room. Maybe someday. Okay, then we have one left. My teacher told me to about the math problem a little longer, and she would help me with it. You guys were doing this on all 4 of these. If you have the right word left, yeah.
So the word doesn't make sense.
Okay, let's go on down to the true and false. Do you see the number 1 under the true and false?
Yeah.
Ivan feels angry all the time. You're just going to put a T for true or an F for false. Ivan feels angry all the time. 2, an elephant and a dog are Ivan's dearest friends. We did read about this part. Was that true or was that false? Three, Ivan weighs about 1,000 pounds. It talked about this toward the beginning of the story.
It did talk about.
Do you remember what he said he weighed? Does anybody remember? Let's look back before we go any further in the story. Yes, it was. I can't turn the page. Okay.
400 pounds.
What page did you find that on?
4.
Page 4. Oh, it's in the 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph. I'm mightier than any human, 400 pounds of pure power. All right, so back to number 3. Ivan weighs about 1,000 pounds.
It said about.
But if we round 400, is that going to round up? Remember, 5 or above, give it a shove. 4 or less, let it rest. Would 400 round up to 1,000?
No.
No. Okay, 4. Is everybody ready for 4 now?
Mm-hmm.
Ivan keeps pretty busy in his domain. And then 5. Ivan got a crayon from Julia, but never learned how to draw with it.
Are you gonna break this page? get, I bet we can.
Okay, look at the bottom part. We can go ahead and do this one too. What do you know about Ivan so far? Think about what we have learned about him, what he has shared with us, because he's the one telling this story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so think about what he has shared with us. Jenny and Natalia, I'm going to have you talk about this one as a partner pair. Haley and Lucas, you'll talk as a partner pair. And then Amy and Connor, you'll talk as a partner pair. What do we know about Ivan so far? Share with each other. Look back in the book if you need to. And then you can jot things down with your partner. Questions?
Do we just list them, or do we have to have complete?
Don't worry about complete sentences. You can just list things that you come up with. Okay? Questions?
Can we sit around the room?
Yes, you may sit around the room. After we do that, I think we will
It's just
stop for today.